My Truth, Our Facts. Episode 3, The Day You Were Taken, What They Said versus What's True. Skylar, Randy, this one's for you. There's a day I carry with me every hour, every heartbeat, the day they took you. Not because I didn't love you, not because I hurt you, but because a courtroom believed a story that wasn't true. A courtroom that let others speak over me, about me, without knowing me. And now I need you to hear the truth that never made it on the record. I am your mother. I was there. I know what happened. In this episode, I'm going to tell you about that day, the one that changed everything. I'll walk you through what the court said, what was used against me, and what they refused to see. And then I'll tell you what really happened. The facts, the context, the love, the truth. For anyone who's listening, who's ever been erased by a broken system, this is also for you. Family court is supposed to protect children, but sometimes it silences the very parent that's trying to keep them safe. This isn't just my story. It's a warning, and it's a legacy. I'm Margaret Sullivan, and this is my voice on the record, finally. Part 1, The Moment of Separation. Skylar, Randy, I want to take you back to the day everything changed, not because I want to relive it, but because you deserve to know the truth, the real story, not the story the court told, not the story someone else wrote without ever looking you in the eyes. You were with me the night before. You were safe, loved, fed, tucked in with kisses. That morning, your nanny took you to school like any normal day. And then by court order, you were transitioned to your father for a 5-day visit. That was the schedule. That's what we'd been following. But while you were at school, something happened behind closed doors. Your father filed for an ex parte order without telling me, without a hearing, without any chance for me to speak. He didn't accuse me of abuse. He didn't claim neglect. He simply asked for sole custody and said it was backed up by an affidavit from the guardian ad litem, Victoria Lanier, the same person who represented you, Randy, that she said was your lawyer and that everything you told her was in confidence. She lied to you, by the way. I read that affidavit. I remember shaking when I saw it. She claimed I was intoxicated based on a sober-link test. But she didn't show the test. She didn't submit evidence that proved impairment. She didn't even claim you were in danger. And I deny her statement with everything I have. I was with you the night before. I was clear-headed, present. There was no incident, no danger, nothing that even came close to putting you at risk. And I want to say this plainly for the record and for your hearts. I have never drunk to excess. I have never hurt you. I have never put you in harm's way, except staying with your father. Not once, not ever. But that day, October 30th, 2019, someone else's word, not backed by evidence, not by context, not by truth, was enough to take you from me. There was no investigation, no cross-examination, no time for the truth to surface, just a judge's stamp and silence. And in that silence, a wound opened that we're still healing from. Part 2, What They Said. After the ex parte order was signed, everything moved fast, but in only one direction, away from me. I wasn't notified before it happened. I didn't get to speak. I didn't get to explain. I found out after the fact that an order had been granted to remove you based on an affidavit I didn't even get to see until the damage was already done. And what did they say? Let me tell you what was used to justify taking you from your mother. Number one, she was intoxicated. That was the cornerstone of the affidavit from Victoria Lanier, the court-appointed guardian ad litem. She claimed I was intoxicated and pointed to a soberling test. But she didn't show the test. She didn't submit any evidence proving impairment. She didn't claim you were ever at risk. And I deny that statement fully, truthfully, and without hesitation. I was not impaired. I was not intoxicated. I had just lovingly cared for you. We had a peaceful night and a normal morning. Your nanny took you to school, and you were scheduled to transition to your father just like the parenting plan stated. There was no emergency. There was no threat. But this unverified accusation was all it took. Number two, she poses a risk to children. This was never directly stated, but it was heavily implied. Yet not one mandated reporter, no teacher, no doctor, no therapist ever raised a concern. No one said I had hurt you, but the court took a vague claim and treated it as fact. Number three, the father should have sole custody. That was your father's entire request. He didn't allege harm. He didn't say I abandoned you. He simply said he wanted full custody and referred to an affidavit that didn't meet the legal standard for imminent risk. But it worked. He got what he asked for. And then came the judge's order. A judge signed an order that read, visitation as agreed by the parties, with such supervision as determined or required by the father. Think about that. The court handed your father the sole power to decide whether I could see you and whether I needed to be supervised when I did. No hearing, no standard, no judicial findings of danger or harm. That's not justice. That's the surrender of judicial responsibility and the silencing of a mother's right to parent her own children. And just 5 days later, your father enrolled you in family therapy. Not with me, not with both of us, but with the two of you and his girlfriend, Diane Dumont. Without telling me, without my input, without my consent as your mother. And you were removed from me, almost immediately placed into a system of psychological realignment framed as therapy, but without transparency or ethical safeguards. And I need you to hear this too. Your father had already been cheating on me with Diane Dumont years before our divorce. And he already started introducing her into your lives, into our family, in a way that was manipulative, confusing, and yes, completely fucked up. Not with respect, not with boundaries, but with control, in secret, then in plain sight. That's not reunification, that's alienation. Part 3. What's true? Skylar, Randy, if no one else will say it, I will. You were taken from me based on distortions, omissions, and unchecked power, not because you were ever unsafe. And today, I speak what the court wouldn't let me say. I was not intoxicated. The SoberLink device has a history of false positives. I never saw the results submitted as evidence. It wasn't filed in court. It was simply referenced without proof, without testing, without balance. I have never abused you. I have never neglected you. I have never struck you, screamed at you, or made you feel unsafe. I protected you. I raised you with love and fought to keep you safe when no one else would. Your father used the court to consolidate control. He gained unilateral power over visitation, and then he used that power to isolate me, erase me, replace me. But I kept fighting. I filed motions. I begged for reconsideration. I challenged the order. At one point, Randy believed I was dead. That is not love. That is something that your father you're allowed. After 5 years, the Connecticut Supreme Court finally ruled that the trial court's decision was wrong. It was unconstitutional to let your father suspend my visitation rights without court review. That ruling, RH versus MH, on August 14th, 2024, validated what I've said all along. No one, not a therapist, not a parent, has the right to take your children away without due process. But the damage was already done. So I'm saying this now with love and truth and everything I've been holding. I did not abandon you. I did not harm you. I did not walk away. You were taken from me, and I never stopped trying to bring you home. Closing. I never stopped. Skylar, Randy, if you remember nothing else from this episode, remember this. You were never unsafe with me, never unloved. You were never abandoned. You were taken. And I have never stopped fighting to bring you back. Not once. Not when the court stripped my voice. Not when the system handed your father unchecked power. Not when therapists and judges and lawyers treated me like a danger instead of a mother. Not when they called it custody, but it felt like erasure. I wrote motions, I stood in courtrooms, I faced down falsehoods. I begged people to look at the facts instead of the fiction, and still I was silenced. But today, this microphone is my courtroom. My voice is now on the record. You deserve the truth of your own lives, not a filtered version, not one rewritten by people with power. This is your history. This is your mother. I have always been here. To every mother listening who's been painted as unstable, unfit, unsafe, when all you've done is protect your babies, I see you, I believe you, I'm standing with you. The system may have silenced us in court, but it can't silence our truth. And to my children, when you're ready to come home to your story, I'll be here. My arms, my heart, and our history waiting. This is how we begin again. This is my voice. These are our facts. And this is just the beginning. Love loves.